Hello and welcome to another episode of John Collects Stamps. Today's going to be a slightly different video, and it's different from what I had planned. Originally I was going to be talking about some Victorian stamps, but I've been let down by the Royal Mail due to the postal strikes that we've had in the UK. Some of my deliveries haven't got through. There's a big backlog of mail in the system due to the industrial action that's been going on over the past few weeks. So that video will have to wait until I receive the items that I specifically wanted to mention on the video. So instead I'm going to do a video showing the websites that I use for research and also for purchasing stamps. And yeah, I thought I'd share those with you. Before I do that, can I start by saying a big thank you to everybody who's watching or has watched any of my content. I only started the channel early in December, and as of yesterday, which was the 28th of December, I hit the 250 subscriber mark, and I must say I'm blown away by the feedback that I've had. And I never in my dreams thought that I'd get that many people watching my content, let alone subscribing. So a big thanks to everybody who has watched, liked, commented and subscribed. If you're not subscribed, and if you give this video a watch and enjoy it, then please give me a like and consider subscribing for any future content, because I'll be making at least one video every week. I'm aiming to do two, one at the weekends and one during the week. And I've got a few topics lined up, and I'm going to branch out a bit because I know most of my videos so far have been based around Great Britain, and even today's has got a heavily British influence about it. But today I will also be covering rest of the world. But yeah, I do have some other ideas for videos which will take me outside of Great Britain. I did a video the other day on the stamps of South Africa and South West Africa. So if that's something of interest, then please go back and give that one a watch. And without further ado, I'm going to crack on. So the first site I'm going to show you is called collectgbstamps.co.uk. This is like his visual encyclopedia of all British stamps. When you get to the home page, it shows you the current issue, and this is the Tutankhamun set of 12 stamps that the Royal Mail issued in November of this year. So there's these 8 at the top here. I think they're absolutely beautiful, these. I ordered these the other day, so I've not received them yet. But these are the set of stamps, and then there's these 4 which are part of a miniature sheet. But they've broken this down to show the individual images. So what you can do is you can highlight each particular image. This site is a very good resource. And if you look over here on the right, on the grey panel where you've got display year, you know, you can see it's got different years. So we've got 2023, and even though the stamps haven't been released yet, it's got these subjects there of what the stamps will be. And as you can see there, there's a bookmark for Charles III, A New Reign. May the 6th, 2023 is the date that's been set for the coronation of King Charles. So there's a fair few different topics coming next year. I know one that seems to be very popular with a lot of people are the Harry Potter stamps, so there's another set of Harry Potter commemoratives coming out next year. Blackadder, a stalwart of British comedy. Robin Hood, and one for the superheroes fans, the X-Men, and one for Rockstar fans with Iron Maiden. So if I just go back to the previous page, so yeah, you could select whatever year you want to see what stamps came out that year, and then it shows them all in chronological order. So it's very useful as a visual guide if you wanted to see which stamps were in a particular set. And it covers everything here. Look, you can see the Machins, the country definitive stamps, which I'm going to be covering in a video in January. And one other thing of interest at the top, there's a nice little resource here. If you highlighted the Explore button, we're currently on the Stamps tab. You can also have a look at the presentation packs. And again, you can go through by year and see all the different presentation packs that the Royal Mail has issued over the years since 1964, I think it is. Yeah, 64. And it even shows you on here the inners. This is all the literature you get within the presentation pack. And other little bits and pieces. There's another tab up here for first day covers. Not something that I collect. It's something I used to collect when I was a kid. But it's something that fell by the wayside over the years. But another one of interest that I do collect is miniature sheets. Now, the first miniature sheets in Britain came out in 1978, and there was only one issued that year. I'm just going to show you that one. And these were for this set of 4 stamps, which was a set of stamps that was released as a set of stamps as well. It was the British Architecture set, but these were ahead of the London 1980 International Stamp Exhibition. The following year there was a second miniature sheet for the same event. But that was featuring things relating to the Postal Service. A picture of Rowland Hill there. And then in 1980 there was this single stamp, this 50p stamp, which I believe today is the largest stamp that we've produced in Britain. And it shows, basically, it's like a mishmash of all the landmarks of London. So you've got like the Tower of London, Tower Bridge, the Telecom Tower, St Paul's Cathedral, the Houses of Parliament, Westminster Abbey. So it's a beautiful stamp. It's black and white, but yeah, it's got kind of a throwback sort of appeal to it. This is cheap and easy available. You can find this anywhere. It's on eBay. You'll pick that up for maybe face value, or you know, thereabouts. So yeah, it does miniature sheets. So, you know, as the years have rolled on, we've started issuing more commemoratives on miniature sheets, sometimes to accompany a set of commemoratives, so it's like an extra. But covers a wide range of topics, and some of them are really nice. Some of them are. It's a nice set of the royal houses. You've got like the Age of the Stuarts there. It shows you, but there is one with all the individual monarchs on as well, if I remember. And also prominent figures of the day. I do have most of these in my collection, most if not all of these from round about this era. That's the miniature sheet to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Machins, with a nice stamp there with Arnold Machin. So anyway, that's Collect British Stamps. It also covers Post and Go labels, which is something I don't collect. But yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, this details all the different Post and Go labels that are available. Prestige stamp books, again, not something I collect, but these are all listed going back to the first one, 1969. Even a section on booklets, again, not something I collect. Some of them do have extra commemoratives in them, but again, it's just not, doesn't interest me at all. One thing I do find quite interesting is this one here that says posters. These are posters that Royal Mail would have put up in the post office advertising forthcoming issues of stamps and the like, so I know there's something on there. So it's like when they release some new a new set of Machins, they would advertise in the post office, and these are all the posters. And what I've done with these is I've downloaded a couple of these, because you can, the image is quite a good scan, and I printed them off and framed them, so I've actually got some of these hung on the wall. I think they look really nice. Again, things like that. It's like postal. I know it's not original, but it's like, you know, it's like a nice bit of reproduction of some postal history, and quite interesting to have as decorative pieces. Postmarks, sheets. Yeah. So there's plenty to look at here. Oh, PHQ cards. These are the postcards. So every set of commemorative stamps comes with a set of accompanying postcards that just to enlarge the stamp artwork. There's a reproduction of the stamps on the postcards. Maybe something of interest to people who use post-crossing and send postcards. So that's collectgbstamps.co.uk. There's another site, the Penny Red Collector. Now this is quite interesting if penny reds are something you're interested in. There's plenty of information on here, you know, broken down into different sections. You know, there's stories here of things like plate 77, which is the holy grail of penny red plates. But there are a few other articles on here, you know, things like tips for platers, penny plate varieties. Another article there on plate 77. It tells you exactly what occurred and how many. You know, it's some of this is apocryphal knowledge, but it's some of it is actually what happened. And the first sheets that were printed, one was sent to Somerset House for approval, and so on. But there's quite a lot of articles on here around penny reds. I only discovered that a couple of weeks ago, so okay, I've been dipping my toe in and having a look at that. One thing I do collect is Machins, and this is a site called adminware.ca/Machin, and it's like a big database of all the Machin stamps, and it goes into some very, you know, into some very good detail. So you select on here what you're looking for, click on find. So I selected decimal, and then it shows you the different issues. So these were the first decimal issues from 1971. Unfortunately, it doesn't list catalogue numbers. That's the only downside to it. So I'd like it more if it had, you know, the Stanley Gibbons or even the Scott catalogue numbers on. But unfortunately, that's not something it does. But if you're just interested in collecting different face Machins, you know, this gives you a nice little database of what's out there. It even goes up to the modern day ones with the data matrix, which are the ones with the little barcode, like QR code on the side. So it is up to date. So that's something of interest. This one you may already know about. This is StampWorld.com, and this covers the entire world. This isn't just to do with British stamps, and I use this quite a lot for some of the other countries I collect. So if we head over to Africa, it breaks it down by continent up here at the top. Then you can drill down into whichever country, so South Africa. But then it's quite well laid out in that it has different sections beneath that. So the other video I did the other day detailing South African stamps and showing the provincial and territories stamps, those are all listed here in their own little sections. So this is quite a good resource, and it is illustrated as well in colour, which does help. Now they have their own catalogue numbers on here. These numbers on here don't relate to Gibbons or Scott. And the unfortunate thing about this is the adverts on the pages. I tried running ad blocker, but it doesn't let you look at the pages if you've got an ad blocker running. That's the only downside, really. But it's a free site, and you know, you can see here the amount of work that's gone into it. And if you watched the video I did on the South African stamps, that's the 5 shilling stamp that I had in my collection from Natal. It was the one that was used on the thumbnail for the video. So as you can see, there's a nice set of those, which is something I'm looking at getting hold of, but some of these are very expensive, so they may have to wait a while. But yeah, really well organised. Like I say, you can drill down into all the different territories, and it gives you sort of a finite list then of what there is, you know, some, you know, with some detail. You know, you could click on each particular stamp, and where applicable, people have put other articles or different information on there. So I find this very useful. It's very useful for identifying if you've got like a foreign stamp, you don't have a catalogue for it. This is a great little resource for finding out when and where it was issued. So if we go back to catalogue and we come back to Europe, so this also has a Great Britain section, which is broken down into the main Great Britain and then regional definitives, Channel Islands and other territories, Isle of Man, Jersey. So there's plenty of information here. Another country that I collect is Malta. I mean, you can skip through the years. If you look over here on the right, you've got the different decades, and then you open up the decade and you can then expand further by year. And then when you get to the bottom of the page, you can then forward through the years if you want, or if there's more pages for that year, there'll be another arrow to move you on. So it's a good resource, and it's one I've used many a time. So that's StampWorld.com. The other one I will highlight is the Royal Mail special stamp issues. So this is the Royal Mail website. So there's the Tutankhamun stamps that we saw earlier. So this is where I ordered some stuff last night. It's a site I use quite commonly, not as much as I used to, because I've kind of slowed down a bit on my Queen Elizabeth collecting, mainly due to the sheer volume of stamps that are published every year now. You know, we're getting to 12, sometimes 14 sets of stamps issued, and you know, when you're paying £12 a set, and then you've got a separate miniature sheet at £5, you know, it all adds up. And I think they do pad this out with quite a lot of you know, there's a lot of things on here that, you know, things like these with the coins, and you know, I think they kind of over egg the pudding at times with the number of items that they produce. But yeah, this, you know, you can buy the definitives here. You can buy actual postage stamps for postal use. But these are all the 2022 sets. Oh, sorry about that. It's this one of these dynamic pages that keeps. But yeah, if you're after current Royal Mail sets of stamps, then shop.royalmail.com is the place to go. And then finally, another site that I use for purchases is a site called BB Stamps. It's stampsforsale.co.uk, but if you do BB Stamps, all one word, .co.uk, that will also bring you here. And this is where I tend to order my older things like my penny red plates. And let me just show you those. If we click on it, it only sells British stamps. It doesn't sell any other country, but they are kind of expert dealers in British stamps. Apologies, I lost the camera stopped recording, so there will be a little clip there. I'm sorry that just cut off. I've tried to keep it as seamless as I can. But anyway, where I was up to was showing you the penny red plates. So scroll down here, and here we go, penny red plate numbers. So these are for the penny reds SG 43 and 44, Scott catalogue 33, 33B, which is highlighted here. So as you can see, it gives you the different price points for the different quality of the stamps. So you got unmounted mint, you got fine mounted mint, I'm guessing that's average, and you got fine used, good used, and space filler. I tend to buy the fine used, so if you look at that, that's £1.25. So they're not inherently expensive. You know, there is a whole range of the plates from 71 through 225. Some of them are way more expensive than others, but if you look down here, depends what condition you want to collect them in. I collect them in fine used, so you know, you can see a lot of them here are £1, £1.25, £1.25, £1.50, 60 pence, 55 pence. You know, so then we get up into the £2 for a couple of them. One of the best ways of collecting these penny reds is if you get them off eBay. If you get a selection, people do sell them where they'll have like a full stock card full of different numbers. Some of them they may have already listed the numbers, or they may be unlisted, where you'd have to do the homework yourself to find the plate numbers, which is easy enough to do under magnification in the most part, unless the stamp's been completely obliterated with a really heavy obliterator cancel, because it does appear on both sides of the stamp in the lattice work. So the way I started was that I bought a load off eBay, plated them up, put them in my album. I'd labelled up all the spots with the different with the different plate numbers, which then enabled me to go and cherry pick the plate numbers that I wanted. Now, as we're creeping up a bit here now into the 200s, you can see here like the fine used now we're up to like £4 or £5 for. But again, for a stamp, it's not that expensive for a Victorian stamp. You know, there's an expensive one there, plate 219. It's £29.50. And that's the beast of the collection. You know, the 225 coming in at 350. That's because it was the last plate, so I'm guessing it's the plate that produced the least number of stamps. And again, there's one there for 34. Take them out of my basket. Otherwise, I'll end up just buying them next time I order something. But I found this site to be really, really, really good value for the things that I collect. I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? You know, you got catalogue price, which is always overinflated. This is where again, because of my matching collection, I'm down to the kind of nitty-gritty of it now, where I just buy per catalogue number, because I know which ones I'm missing. So if you've seen my video on Machins, GB Machins and regional issues, you'll see that I talk about the different catalogue numbers, the decimal X numbers, the elliptical perforation Y numbers, and these are all listed as separate indexes on here. And as you can see, they've got the Stanley Gibbons catalogue, and something else that I've highlighted before is if you look here, you can see that this particular stamp, where you've got a little icon there, you've got the actual image. So this halfpenny stamp here, you can see that with the two phosphor bands on it quite clearly. You can see the bands on the left and the right of it. Here you can see the quite visible. We've got X41, X42, X43, and if you look, there's no Scott catalogue numbers that correspond to them. It jumps to the next one, MH23. They've got one, for some reason they've got one there for MH23A. But if you look for the Stanley Gibbons, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 catalogue numbers, where there's only 2 catalogue numbers for the Scott catalogue. This is why I would recommend, if you're collecting Machins, to use the Stanley Gibbons catalogue numbers. But again, if you look at the prices here, you can see there is the odd exception. You know, that one's there at £29.50. I didn't pay that much for it. I don't know how. I don't even know where that one came from in my collection, but I have got that with the left band. But again, 20 pence, 20 pence, 20 pence, a pound, £1.5. I know it's a lot more than the face value. You know, it's a 5p stamp that's unmounted mint for a pound. But again, 30p, 40p, 30p. Again, with Machins, what you can do is you can buy yourself a nice selection on eBay, a mix of used or, you know, mint never hinged. And then once you've got a nice collection and you've worked out where the gaps are, you could then go and cherry pick to fill the void. This is also a site that sells penny blacks, so I don't know if it's got its own section under Victoria or line and grade out in perfs. Yeah, so you can see here there is actually a better page than this. I think it's on Rare and Selected, Queen Victoria, penny blacks. There we go. So that's now broken down into the different, the 12 different plate numbers that we used for the penny black. So the common ones I think are 5 and 6. So if let's have a look at plate 6. So these would be cheaper than some of the other plates. So it depends what your budget is. If you're looking for a penny black, you know, the nicer the stamp, the more money you will pay. So, but you know, you look at that one there, that's got three decent margins. That's 175. I'd say you're probably looking between 150 and 250 for a nice penny black. You know, it depends how important the condition of it is to your collection, or whether it's just a case of, you know, I mean, that one doesn't look too bad. That one's 165. I mean, I know it's a pricey stamp, you know, for just an average collector. But you know, for a special occasion like your birthday or something like that, you got one there for what, £75. 3 margins and a red Maltese cross cancellation. Yeah, it's got the corner snipped a little bit. So yeah, but you're paying £75, so you are gonna have to take that into account if that's what you were buying. So anyway, those are some of the websites that I use. Like I say, it's not a comprehensive list. You know, you might not find any of these any use to you, but I would have thought that the StampWorld.com is useful to anybody who's collecting, especially for a country that they don't have a dedicated catalogue for. You know, I find it to be a very useful site. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed and learnt something along the way. As I said at the start of the video, if you do enjoy, please give me a like. It does help the algorithm and promotes my channel a little bit. And if you haven't already, if you'd consider subscribing. You can also follow me on Instagram, John Collects Stamps, all one word. I post updates on there, sometimes of incoming mail, new acquisitions, and I also link to my videos on YouTube from there. And yeah, so we're almost at the end of the year. The next video I do will probably be out on Sunday, which will be New Year's Day. Depending on what happens with the Royal Mail over the next couple of days, I may have all the relevant items I need for the affordable Victorian stamps video that I wanted to do today, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. So yep, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of the holiday period before we all go back to work again next week, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.